Hello guys, today I'll be talking about the role of each Pokemon in Generation 1. So I'm not very clear about this, but this is my take. I'm not also a very experienced player, so take my word for a grain of salt. So let's proceed. First off, there's one of the kings of the metagame, Alakazam. It's not the best, it's far from the best. It's like mid-tier OU. Even though it has ridiculous special, which means it's bulky on the special side, and hits like a truck, its defense is very meager. Also, it has terrific speed and it outspeeds a lot of threats. However, its coverage is literally only psychic, which sucks. So there are a few sets Alakazam could run, but most sets are quite similar. So this is one of my favorite sets. So we have the bulky set with Psychic, Recover, Reflect, and Thunder Wave. So Reflect is to patch up Alakazam's terrible defense, and Thunder Wave is just super good back then because it had a 50% chance of paralyzing fully para rather than 25% para, I believe. So it was pre-broken and so has 100% accuracy. So this could cripple switch-ins like Snorlax and most of all Tauros, because Tauros really depends on speed tier, as well as Starmie and Chansey. Though Chansey, you need to store out Chansey basically. Sometimes you don't run Reflect, you run Seismic Toss instead, so you could deal with stuff like Starmie or Executor. That's an option, but I prefer Reflect. Usually you always have Thunder Wave and Recover. Some very gimmicky stats would run Counter, which is crazy because Alakazam's terrible defense already, but Alakazam has good enough bulk to survive at least one Hyper Beam from either Tauros or Snorlax. I'm not sure about Calc, it might be a range, definitely dead to crit, but it could use Counter instead of Reflect to counter the move such that the opponent's thrown off and you can kill his mains of residual weapons. Counter has very good synergy with Reflect, but personally, I will not give out Thunder Wave for Reflect and Counter. So that's basically Alakazam. Chansey is crazy good this gen and has a ton of sets. Let me show you the main set. Okay, so the main set is Ice Beam to freeze because Chansey's for Wars of Attrition, Slugfest because it stores Pokemon like it just stores. It does have good special, so it can could attack. Ice Beam, Soft Ball is definitely needed. It could run Thunder Wave and the last move slot, and this last move slot is quite flexible, I could say. Usually they run Seismic Toss, period. Seismic Toss is for Pokemon very low HP, but is resistant to Ice Beam, for example, Starmie, as well as Executor, everything does that, okay, bruh. Sometimes there'll be Chansey, which goes much more on defensive with Thunderbolt because it's very good synergy with Ice Beam. Ice Beam deals with the ground types that are immune to Thunderbolt. It's special 105, so it could deal some hefty damage, I must say. No one runs Thunder, okay? No one runs Thunder. So I'm not really giving in sets. I'm more giving like move choices. I'm not sure what synergizes with what. There is a Chansey called the Epic Triple Kill Chansey. I don't think it's this set actually, but it has counter. Why? Because it can take 2 Snorlax body slams. And I believe it's going to take crit Snorlax Hyper Beam. Actually, not sure about that calc. Probably not. But counter works for normal types and fine types in this gen. I forgot to mention. But it's very good to surprise stuff like Snorlax or Tauros, because Tauros is not likely to hyper beam on the switch because you might go into like Rhydon and it will be needed to recharge and get a free hit, so it's more likely to body slam, which would not kill your Chansey, and you can counter. Yeah. Sometimes you also run Reflect counter, but of course it's a very niche pick. Effect counter, softboard, ice beam seems pretty niche because you also need a Thunder Wave, as I mentioned, and giving up Thunder Wave is not worth it. So I just prefer counter, Thunder Wave, ice beam, softboard. If you really want to run counter, you could rather than seismic toss, you could also run Sing in place of Thunder Wave, or you can both Sing and Thunder Wave, although that's also very niche. Sleep is crazy in RBY OU because sleep can last up to 6 turns and it takes 1 turn to wake up. So it basically lasts from 2 to 7 turns because the time you wake up, you cannot do anything. But Sing has terrible accuracy. However, Chansey is a bulky mon, so has many chances to use Sing because it has a great longevity. Softball is essential. Ice Beam's almost always there. The last few are Sing, Counter, Seismic Toss, Thunderbolt, or Reflect. So that's your Chansey. There are niche Chanseys, niche Chanseys that run Blizzard instead of Ice Beam, but you'll get out of PP, so I'd rather you not run that, okay? Cloyster. Cloyster is very good because of its 180 defense, which blows my mind, even 180 defense. But it's very good for stopping Snorlax, Tauros, but that's basically it. The offensive physical threats, it can't really stop the special threats, which are a lot. Cloyster's main move is Clamp. If you didn't know, moves like Clamp, Fire, Spin, and Wrap prevents the opponent from moving when it's used. So basically, you use Clamp on a Pokemon, it cannot move for that turn. You use Clamp again, it cannot move. It's probably a multi-hit move, but it's even worse than that because your opponent cannot move afterwards. And after Clamp ends, if you're faster, you can Clamp again and the opponent cannot move, so you can still kill the opponent. It's just a terrible accuracy, which is why it is not insanely broken, but it could be very good if you're faster. It's not really that fast. Cloyster, but Clamp is still very good. On Cloyster, you almost always want to run it. Blizzard is super good coverage for Rhydon, Dragonites, especially Executor, which might switch in, as well as Zapdos, Victreebel. Though Victreebel is not really seen in this Coven metagame, you usually want to run Explosion because Explosion half damage, so it's 240 power, so it's going to kill. So there'll be like switch instances at Chansey because Chansey tanks this physical, a special hit, so it can explode in Chansey, which is huge for special attackers such as Alakazam, Jinx, Gengar, etc., in the later game. Sometimes you don't want to run Blizzard, you want to rush Ice Beam, but it's like your own preference. You usually do not want to run Surf because Blizzard already covers for it, so Surf is like self-explanatory. So you usually want to run Hyper Beam. But the last moveset is actually pretty up to you because there's no real viable choice for the last moveset that I know of because I'm dumb. Okay, guys, this probably It's Execute, probably the second last Pokemon that we're gonna review today. We'll do more of this later on, not now though. Okay, so Execute is very, very good in RBY. Yeah, these nuts is very good in RBY. Repeat, these nuts. Okay. As we know, paralysis is very good, so stun spore is a worst form of paralysis, but who cares? Sleep powder. Sleep is very broken, and this is much more accurate than saying. Looking at Executor's stats, is super bulky, so it can tank physical and special hits. So it has a lot of chances to use stun spore and sleep powder. It has explosion to deal with Chansey, which is a common street switching, and it has psychic. Sometimes you drop stun spore for Mega Drain to deal with Cloyster or Starmie, which might be common switchings actually. But other than Mega Drain and Stun Spore, there's no other viable choice that I know of. Hyper Beam is not good out of 95 attack with non-stab, so it's really, really niche actually. Reflect, there's no real use of Reflect here. Rest is almost never good. So I think that's the only thing you can use for. Sometimes it could use Leech Seed. Leech Seed's actually a viable option. Sometimes you can put like Mega Drain, Leech Seed, Psychic, Sleep Powder. So when a sleeping Pokemon doesn't want to switch out, you can still regain a lot of health. Sometimes you can use Reflect because there's less damage, so you can heal more with the Leech Seed. Actually, that's a good choice. So Leech Seed, Sleep Powder, Explosion, Psychic is also possible. So that is Executor. Executor is very good because it's very bulky, has a lot of chances to take down Sleep. It's not very weak to the Sleep setters, and it is a very consistent Pokemon for Sleep. Gengar is never Sleep Mon. Wow, there's so many. Uses Hypnosis almost all the time. Yeah, okay. Confuse Ray is sometimes used, mostly used actually, because confusion has a 50% chance of hitting yourself. So it's basically Thunder Wave, but better and no speed drop, which I think is a good choice. I mean, it's a good trade-off. There's no real stat move for this one, so it can use Psychic and Thunderbolt for its coverage. This is usually the set, like this is almost usually the set. It also can run Explosion for Chansey, so it can drop Confuse Ray and can go Explosion. You always want to run Hypnosis, or you can get rid of Thunderbolt and can get Explosion. You also sometimes want to run Nightshade for residual 100 damage, just like Chansey. But on threats that low HP, you can use Nightshade, but I prefer you not to use Nightshade. So the main sets, I repeat, is Hypnosis, Confuse Ray, Psychic Thunderbolt, or Hypnosis, Confuse Ray, Psychic Explosion, or Hypnosis, Explosion, Psychic, Confuse Ray. So it's pretty much a combination of these. Don't use Dream Eater, okay? Dream Eater is super niche. Just saying. Okay, Jolteon. So Jolteon is very annoying, okay? So it uses Sand Attack. Okay, apparently there's no evasion clause, but Sand Attack is so detrimental. I think they should have the evasion clause. Jolteon runs Sand Attack so much because it outspeeds the opponent almost all the time. So it can use Sand Attack before it attacks, so it misses like super effective moves. So use more Sand Attack, which sucks, and it just makes everyone sad, right? So it runs Sand Attack, Double Kick for the Rock Ground types. Thunderbolt as a stab. It could also run Thunder. Thunder's niche. Series. You can run Thunderbolt and Thunder. It could sometimes run Pin Missile for the common switching of Executor, though it can stand attack Executor for its miss sleep powder, that's possible. Sometimes also runs Reflect for Earthquake, uses to my knowledge, it rarely runs Hyper Beam, but sometimes runs Body Slam because it's very fast, so you can paralyze the opponent for your slower teammates. So it could use Body Slam. It could use no. You rather use Thunder Wave than Body Slam, just saying. So use Sun Attack, Thunder Wave, Thunderbolt, and Double Kick. Sometimes you want to drop this or Reflect for super duper annoying. It's physical attackers, but usually want the coverage, so you can run Double Kick. So this is the usual set. Sometimes it runs Body Slam in place of Thunder Wave or Double Kick. Or Pin Missile, not viably, because 5 Pin Missiles will not kill Executor, even though it's 4 times super effective. OMG. Okay, so the last Pokemon for now is Jinx. Jinx, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Jinx is a very good lead because it outspeeds the Sleep Sash of Jinx and Executor, so it's like super good. Jinx runs Lovely Kiss, which is literally Sleep Powder, but it's normal type, which doesn't really matter, so it's just like that. There's Blizzard, which covers a lot of things, Psychic, and a third move of your choice. It could run Counter quite viably because it's very thin defense, but it could survive a Body Slam from Tauros or Body Slam from Snorlax, so it could run Counter, but it never does. So you usually want to run Reflect because it gives you much more longevity for your Jinx. Okay, guys. Also, may I mention that I do not really know the viability of substitute this gen, so I'm not really going to comment on it because I don't know anything about it. So this is the last Pokemon. This is Rhydon. Rhydon runs Earthquake, Rock Slide as its stat combination always, because Rock Slide is needed for Executor and Zapdos. It sometimes runs Surf for opposing Rhydon, but Earthquake and Surf does similar damage and 2 shots anyways, that I prefer you not to use Surf, but that's your choice. Then there's Body Slam and Substitute. You can set up Substitute for the next Pokemon, and you depend on Body Slam paralysis because you're slow anyway, so you can make the opponent slower such that you can outspeed. And you substitute when it's paralyzed such that when it's fully paralyzed, you can attack the opponent. That's the main viability of Rhydon. So that's it for this video. Next video cover the rest of the Pokemon. Goodbye, guys.